And if thank you.
Good morning. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Mary Ann Casson, and I will be chairing today's session. Panel members today are Ms. Klein to my left, Mr. Bartolo to my right, Mr. Marziari to my right, and online we have Ms. Sankar. And our Deputy Secretary Treasurer today is Simon Lamb. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are conducted in a hybrid in-person and virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submissions in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx. The meetings are also streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wishing to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. For those participating virtually, when your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. People attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for a decision by email. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Body, or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third parties to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies are permitted to appeal decisions of the committee. Today, I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is contested, the agent or applicant will proceed with their presentation. Excuse me. When an application is uncontested, the committee may not require a presentation. The committee may ask questions and/or take the matter into committee for a decision. Any presentation or other materials you wish to submit to the committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept new materials at the hearing. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make a presentation to the committee. Then individuals either in support or opposed to the application will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call on speakers in the hearing room, then those participating through WebEx. Each speaker, including the applicant, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5-minute mark. When all speakers are finished, the applicant agent has an opportunity to rebut those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The application will then be taken into committee for a decision. Mr. Secretary Treasurer, let's start with any conflicts for this morning's session. Mr. Bartolo?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'll declare conflict with item number 1. The applicant's agent and I have worked on a common file in the past.
All right, thank you, noted. And do we have any minutes to approve today?
Through you, Madam Chair, we have one set of minutes from our last hearing dated April 16th. Present was Mr. Allison, Mr. Nipfeld, Ms. Sankar, Mr. Bartolo, and Mr. Marziari.
All right. Thank you. Do we have a mover for the minutes, approval of the minutes? Ms. Sankar? And a seconder? Mr. Marziari, thank you. All in favor of the minutes, approving the minutes? Thank you. That's carried. Do we have any deferral requests today?
Through you, Madam Chair, there are no formal deferral requests in the AM time slot.
Thank you. And no files to close, I take it?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. So first up, we have item 1. Thank you. Mr. Bartolo is going to excuse himself. This is an application for a consent to sever a lot into 2 lots. Excuse me, a bit of a frog. And we have variances for west side yard setback, to front porch, coverage, lot area, lot frontage, driveway width, area of a balcony, east and west side yard setbacks, number of stories, east side yard setback to front porch, height of main walls, rear deck encroachment into rear yard and east side yard, architectural feature encroachment into front yard, chimney breast width, and building length. And this was deferred from, I think, from September 2024. All right, and we have our applicant in front of us. Welcome.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the Committee of Adjustment staff. My name is Andrew Palumbo of Ian Hall Planning Limited for 38 Betty Nagel Street in Toronto is my address. Madam Chair, we'd actually like to request to, as in consultation with the Secretary Treasurer, to stand down this item because we've come across there's opposition that's in the crowd, but if we are trying to actually possibly discuss some potential revisions that could accommodate their concerns. We've taken these conversations to the hallway, and if we can have the opportunity to stand down the item and potentially come back with some revisions to, again, they would be improvements to the variances, they wouldn't be new variances. So that request is being made right now so that we can stand it down until this potentially gets resolved, and then we can be heard again. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's fine. Just, don't go too far because we don't have that many items this morning.
We'll just be in the hallway.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item 2, Mr. Bartolo can come back. Yeah. Oh, he's gone? Should we just move on maybe, or? We'll just wait 1 minute for our member to come back. All right, we are on item 2, 102 Castlefield Avenue. This is an application to alter the existing driveway and reduce the front yard soft landscaping. The variance is for front yard soft landscaping. On file, we have previous decisions, survey plans, revised plan from August 6, 2025, tree plan, photos, and a letter of support. Do we have our applicant? Oh, great. Welcome. Come on down. Just make sure the microphone's on.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Tracy Morgan. I'm the applicant and the homeowner at 102 Castlefield. So our application for the minor variance to reduce the soft landscaping is part of a project to replace a retaining wall, which is at the east side of our driveway. So at the moment, the retaining wall is original to the property, which was built about 25 years ago. So it's kind of crumbling. You can see the railing is kind of slanted, and it's just generally not in good repair and frankly becoming a bit unsafe, I think. So the minor variance, what it would do, so our plans are to shift our wall slightly to the east. It's very minor. So that would reduce the soft landscaping on our property, which is currently at the top of the wall. So it visually looks like it's actually part of our neighbor's property. So it just shifts it over very slightly so that we can build this retaining wall and then replace our driveway and front steps. I think that's mainly what I wanted to say. I just, want to say that I think that it is minor in nature because visually we're not losing, you're not losing a ton of the neighbor will not lose a ton of the visual part of their green space. It's quite a small area that needs to be kind of shifted. I think that's everything that I wanted to say. I don't know if there are any questions.
The tree that's
Yes.
shown being held, looks like it's being held
This
by
is
the retaining wall?
tree. Yes,
So is
it
that going? Is that,
Ideally, we will keep the tree there. If the designs or the construction make it impossible, then it will be replaced.
and are you redoing the whole driveway?
Yes, so
Okay.
it's a larger project with my neighbor. We're in a semi-detached, so we would be doing both driveways and the front steps as well. Maintaining, I'm not sure if you can see in any of the photos, there is green space kind of between the two driveways. And we're maintaining that green space, and then the planter box that's in the front will maintain as much as we can.
So the amount of soft landscaping right now?
Yeah.
Do we know how much that is? Is it,
I don't know the exact percentages. We have a strip of grass between the two driveways, and then, like I said, currently the way that the wall is built, it kind of comes onto our property, like from the side of the house into the property, and so the soft landscaping is actually on top of the wall, and it visually looks like it's part of our neighbor's yard. And so that's the soft landscaping that we're losing. We're not losing anything in front of our house.
all right. Any other questions? Mr. Marziari?
So you, just to understand it correctly, you are maintaining the amount of soft landscaping between you and the immediate semi-detached neighbors. You're not touching that. You're
That's
just
right.
moving the retaining wall. And how far you're moving that?
We're moving it just so that it's more or less sitting on the property line, like just slightly where it needs to be based on your regulations. It's a maximum of kind of 2.5 feet. It's not a lot. You can't see it in that photo there.
Yeah, maybe, could we scroll down? I think the other photo shows it. It's got a,
You can also see there are pictures from KCCL Architect, their drawings, and you can see where the property line is, where the current retaining wall, that's it there. So you can see where the current retaining wall is, and then where it will be kind of shifted over to.
all right, thank you. Any other questions?
Thanks.
No? All right, thank you. We'll take it
Okay,
into
thank you very
committee.
much.
All right, anyone? Mr. Marziari?
I can start it off. Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we usually not supporting the reduction of soft landscaping at the front, but I think in this case it's very minor. It's already there, and I believe that even the existing condition is, there's deficiency with the existing conditions. So I don't have any concern with this application to support that.
I agree with you. Anyone else?
I agree with
Ms.
him as
Klein?
well. Yeah.
Okay. All right, would someone like to make a motion?
Yeah, I forward a motion to approve, and I don't see any condition.
All right, thank you. And a seconder, Ms. Sankar? All in favor? That is carried. Application's been approved. You're welcome. All right, item number 3, 1698 Victoria Park Avenue. This is an application to convert some existing storage area of an apartment building into 5 residential units of an existing apartment building and indoor amenity space. The variances are for required soft landscaping, location of parking spaces, total required parking spaces, bicycle parking space dimensions, location of long-term bicycle parking spaces, and bicycle maintenance facility. On file, we have a survey, plans, site photos, and a transportation review memo. Our applicant not here online?
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Bruno Lopes. I'm Excel Engineering and Associates, located at 1649 St. Clair Avenue West, and representing the owner.
Thank you very much. I don't really think we need a presentation. I think maybe, does anyone have any questions of the applicant? No? I don't think we, unless there's something you want to point out, I think we understand the application. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a minor comment that we work with both transportation and planning. We had direct conversations. They were actually very supportive of our application. And yeah, here we are.
Okay, great, thank you. Let's take it into committee. Comments? It's very straightforward, I think. Mr. Bartolo, are you?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. It's a very straightforward application. I think it's a good use of existing infrastructure and is in line with the way parking regulations are working in the city. I don't see any issues with that. Transportation doesn't have any issues with it, so I'm in support of this application.
Okay, would you like to move a motion possibly?
I will move a motion to approve this application.
All right, thank you. Seconder, Mr. Marziari, all in favor? What? All in favor? Thank you, that's carried. Let's just let staff catch up.
Through you, Madam Chair?
Yes,
Nothing.
all right. Okay, item number 4. 4 Chater Court. This is an application to permit a new 2-story detached dwelling with a front porch and an ancillary building, pool house, in the rear. The variances are for exterior stair width, building length, building depth, lot coverage, side yard of ancillary building, eaves encroachment into east side yard. On file, we have plans, applicants' photos, community planning staff report, a late urban forestry memo, which recommends moving the pool. Yes, okay, well, I won't get into that right now. All right, let's have our applicant.
Hi, yes, I'm Noam Hazan, located at 2770 Dufferin Street. The company name is Noam Hazan Design Studio, and I'm the applicant representing the owners on 4 Chater.
Great, thank you. Have you read the forestry memo?
Yes, I'm
Because it
aware that
was
we
late,
have to maybe
so-
we may have to shift some things around with regards to the pool house and the swimming pool. We are aware of that. And I actually think that when we do, that it would eliminate potentially 2 of the last variances on the pool house that are basically imposing on the setbacks there. So we might have to reconfigure that space anyway.
So there's also the planning staff report.
Yes.
Were you in agreement with those changes?
Yeah, so we actually submitted a red line, which for some reason was never uploaded. Well, I think it's uploaded now, but it wasn't shared with you prior. So we have been able to reduce the pool house based on that recommendation. And it also has in hand reduced the coverage of the lot coverage as well, slightly based on the reduction in size of the pool house.
All right, let's just go back to the public meeting notice and just go through the items and make sure we know what we're amending here.
Sure, yeah, I can break it down for each one as well
Sure.
if you like.
So item 1,
I would just ask if you could pull up the latest red line notice. You should have it maybe under the correspondence. It was confirmed by Emily that it had been uploaded. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So those are the 3 basically that are being reduced in variances.
so for the verbal record, there's no changes to the first 3 items, 3
Correct.
variances. Item 4, which is lot coverage, is being decreased from 46.2 to 45.45 meters, or sorry, percent, sorry.
But sorry, percent. Yes,
Yes,
that's correct.
percent.
That's an error.
It's okay. Item number 5, which is east side yard setback, is being increased from 0?
0.9, I believe.
0.9, okay, to 1.1.
Correct.
And then item 6 is the eaves encroachment is changing from point,
It's 0.96 to 0.76,
Right.
and then the setback is 0.61 to 0.81. So the distance is increasing from the setback line.
all right. So, and that's in accordance with the staff report. And then we have Sorry, staff, can you just bring up the forestry memo? So I guess my question to the applicant is, how can you address that in terms of the pool and the pool house? Is it moving the,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to have to move. I'm not sure yet. We haven't really looked at a solution yet. I did see in the forestry report that they aren't necessarily refusing or refusing at this stage. They said they would look at it at permit stage. So from our perspective, like we'd like to maintain the pool house, at least to be able to get that coverage on the project, you know, as part of the coverage. But we may have to shift the location of it to comply with the TPZ of those trees. So I don't know exactly yet where it's going to go, but in terms of like the what's it called, the fourth variance in terms of coverage, we'd like to at least maintain that.
so I'm just wondering if you would want to defer the application so that you can take a look at it, have a discussion with forestry and come back with what you really want.
We don't want to defer it, but with regards to the pool house, like if it comes down to to permits and they're not going to accept it, then we will have to eliminate the pool house, and I think we're open to that. We do want to get started on the project and on construction, so we don't want to defer, but we would be open to. I think we'd be open to seeing what we could do about that pool house if we need to reduce it at this stage or completely eliminate it. I think that's something we'd be open to, just so that the project can continue to move forward.
So, Mr. Marziari, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Hassan, we have a community staff report that putting a condition to tie it to the site plan. We don't have an updated site plan. How can we approve it? You need to give us an updated site plan with all the changes and also the pool house that we want to move.
So I think what we would do then at this stage is that I don't think we can comply with forestry if we have the variance anyway. So I think the location of the pool house will have to move. I'm just wondering whether we'd be able to maintain the coverage of the pool house, and then we would eliminate the variances on those two. Is that a possibility?
It's up to
So, like,
the
we would-
committee. But I think you
Yeah,
put
so I
us
guess
in a
the
difficult
question is-
position because we can't fairly evaluate it if we don't have the site plan and know what you're really intending to do.
But I think the way we would do it, we would do as of right, right? So if we were to put the pool house in at a later stage, it would be an as of right application in terms of the side yard setbacks and the eaves. So
All right.
like as long as we would be able to get the coverage, we would we would be located in an as of right location on site.
Okay, Mr. Bartolo has a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So if I'm following correctly, you're going to eliminate all variances except for permitted lot coverage and then build as of right if you get approved on your lot coverage. Is that correct?
Eliminating the two variances relating to the pool house, so 5 and 6. We would eliminate those two variances, correct? And then maintain the addition, maintain the coverage that we've already reduced. And then if we were to find a location for the pool house after, which I don't know if we can at this stage, we may not be able to, but it would be an as of right location that wouldn't trigger any variances.
I see. So essentially, you're going to amend the proposal before us to eliminate variances 5 and 6 and proceed with 1 through 4.
Correct. To eliminate 5 and 6, correct. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll take it into committee unless there were any
Do
further
you want me to
questions.
put together, go through the presentation quickly, or is it not necessary?
I don't think we need it. Do we need it? If you want to.
Yeah, if it helps sort of understand the context and the proposal,
And-
I'd like to, but it's up to you, I think.
Before we do that, could you just clarify that you are wishing to amend your application to delete variances 5 and 6 going forward? Right now?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. All right, let's have a quick presentation.
Sure. So yeah, if we can just go through the presentation. So next page, please. Okay, so just in general, we do believe that all the requests are minor and are minor. It does really suit the location, and they meet the 4 tests. We've got letters of support from the neighbors, from 2 of the adjacent neighbors. The other one we weren't able to reach. The first variance, again, very minor. It's we've increased the staircase width slightly just to align with the front door. From an aesthetic perspective, there's lots of precedent in the neighborhood. We can go to the next slide. So just based on maximum building depth, so the variance is very insignificant, and it was also only triggered from that architectural detail in the front that made it sort of slightly more than it should be on the 19 meters. Again, lots of precedent in the neighborhood. Next slide, please. Sorry, previous one. I think we just missed one. Did we miss one? Yeah, just the number 3, sorry, one back, which was just to do with length. So again, just showing that the additional length, so really we're close to 17 meters on the 2 stories, and then the additional bump out is just single story and an architectural detail. So it does feel like it's that the variance is amplified due to those. If we were at the 17 meters, then that additional bump out wouldn't be considered as part of the building length because it's permitted. Next slide, please. And then these are the ones that we have reduced. So again, just to show the impact on site, all the impact to the additional lot coverage is close to the ground and not really visible from the neighbors, and doesn't really impose on any shadows or views from any of the neighboring properties. So the red is the main structure at 35.8%, which is close to the original coverage of 35%. And then the other structures just do show that they are impacting coverage, but they have really no impact on the neighboring properties and visibility of the neighboring sites. And then next slide, please. And then again, just showing the differences of how we set back the pool house and change the pool house in order to comply with community planning's comments. We've also reduced the pool house to less than 10 meters as well in footprint. So it is relatively insignificant in terms of the size. And we were able to move the pool equipment elsewhere to reduce that space as well. Next slide, please. And then just overall summary, the house, we do believe, really fits in with the scale of the surrounding buildings. The requested variances are mostly related to the space kind of lower to the ground where it doesn't really have a visual impact on the neighbors. And we believe they are all minor in nature, sorry. And we have received some support from the neighbors. Okay, I'll try to do it as quick as I can, but that's our summary, just to give you guys a little bit more context on the proposal. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions? No? All right. We will take this into committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone?
I can start us off there, Madam Chair. I mean, the modifications that the applicant has made here are in line with what was requested in the staff report, kind of go beyond that with the elimination of them. The issue being having it be developed substantially in accordance with variances 2, 3, and 4. I think we can do that for 2 and 3 because the principal house is not changing, but doing it to number 4, I could see causing some consternation. So should we approve it, I think it could be developed substantially in accordance with variances 2 and 3, but not 4.
Okay. But, okay, I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. Mr. Marziari?
Yeah, that was actually my concern too, because the building length and depth is just about the bump at the back. So I want to make sure that it's
Yeah, I agree.
That's
It's a good idea.
If we can tie it to the site plan and the applicant is okay with that,
And we just have to identify that revised site plan, so hopefully it's got a date on it. I don't know. Oh, it's not? It's the same one? Is it the original one? That's true. It wouldn't really matter, I guess. Okay. I don't know, is there a, oh, okay. Yeah, that was the variances, but yeah, I think you sent in a whole package. And can we get to the site plan? I mean, should we use the most recent, or? The front of the package said April 27th, didn't it? On the cover page? Oh, what's the date? Can you see? Can't zoom in that far. Feb. Oops. All right. No. I think, is it the same site? Oh, okay. All right, well then, let's just stick with the one that the staff report's referring to. which
Through
is
you,
the
Madam Chair?
original.
Sorry. Madam Chair, I think the applicant, are you in the committee or?
We are, but you
Oh,
can
okay.
talk to us. Oh, he wanted to say something. Do you think we need it? I mean,
If we can confirm which site plan, we can tie the.
all right, we'll go out of
Do
committee and
anything
talk
that
to
would
the
be-
applicant.
Sorry, yeah, the date is on the top right corner where in the log, under there. You'll see the
Oh,
latest
okay.
one on the 17th of April, reissued for COA.
Okay, so is that the same one that the staff are referencing?
No, that's the 17th was when we reissued this, we resubmitted to COA after the staff report. So this is, yeah, exactly. So
Okay, but the staff
re-
report's referring to one date, it's April 17th,
Yeah, okay, so it's based on this one, exactly.
which is the, yeah, so we can just tie
Which
it
is
to
the
that one.
updated version, correct.
Yeah, so there's no changes, I mean, it looks like the same, other than you've done the little cutout, maybe.
Look, the setbacks have been increased as well. So the previous, this is the new version that we submitted to, we sent it to staff and they commented on this version, I believe.
Okay, but they're both dated April 17th. Huge dilemma here.
No, the previous, if you look at the original one was the 3rd
Oh, okay.
of March.
Okay, but,
This is the
okay.
new- this
I
is the
think
new
maybe
one that they-
staff might have had the updated one because they're referencing April 17th in their report.
Yeah, they did have the updated one. I sent it to them.
All right, I feel like we're going in circles. All right, so we'll say April 17th. Does someone want to make a motion, and then that would be the first part of this? Yes, we're back in committee now. Thank you. Mr. Bartolo.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'll put forward a motion to approve this application, subject to the following revisions, that variances number 4 and, correction, 5 and 6 be eliminated, and it be developed substantially, and that variances number 2 and 3 be developed substantially in accordance with the site plan received April 17th,
Dated April 17th.
dated April 17th. Thank you.
Yep. Yes. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Seconder, Mr. Marziari, thank you. All in favor of the application? That is carried. All right, the application as amended has been approved. All right. I think item 1's back, so let's go back to item 1. And Mr. Bartolo will recuse himself. All right. This is a consent to sever a 22.74 meter lot into two lots of 12.4 and 10.83 each. Variances are for west side yard setback to front porch, coverage, lot area, lot frontage, driveway width, area of a balcony, east and west side yard setbacks, number of stories, east side yard setback to front porch, height of all main walls, rear deck encroachment into rear yard and east side yard, architectural feature encroachment into front yard, chimney breast width, and building length. On file, we have minutes from September 12th, 24, a survey, draft, our plans, presentation, planning letter, community planning email, urban forestry email, and revised plans. Okay, so we have our applicant in front of us. Welcome.
For the second time, good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee and Committee of Adjustment staff. My name is Andrew Palumbo of Ian Hall Planning Limited, and my address is 38 Betty Nagle Street in Toronto, Ontario. I am joined today by my colleague, Mr. Lauren Rose, who is the architect of this project. Would you like him to introduce himself now or when he speaks?
It's okay.
Do you need my address?
Sure.
388 Spadina Road.
Thank you. And just before we begin, do you have any changes to make to the application today?
No, there will be no changes, so it'll proceed as circulated.
Okay.
And before my 5 minutes, the timer starts on the 5 minutes, if possible, I'd like to clarify and speak to the deferral. Otherwise, if it has to be included in the 5 minutes, so be it. I would just like to know up front if it could be included or not. Otherwise, I'll tailor my presentation accordingly.
I think it's just fair to say that it was deferred in September 2024, and
I just wanted to quickly just speak to that very quickly, as the reasons to why it was deferred.
So I don't know that any members were here, but it was deferred so that planning could comment on the discussions that we had at that committee. And they said it wasn't fair that the planning department wasn't here to respond to my comments.
okay.
So if anyway.
All right,
Yeah,
and perhaps in your presentation, you can address the changes that were made, if there were any,
no.
between that meeting and the application that's before us today.
Actually, again, through you, Madam Chair, Mr. Rose was the agent involved at the time of the original deferral. I actually became involved afterwards. The one thing I will just say in that front, when we did address the deferral request, the city planner who wrote the initial negative staff report actually switched districts, and Lauren and I met with the new assigned planner in an effort to address the deferral request in the hopes of reviewing the additional lot study analysis that we undertook that remained in support of the proposed severance, and that's summarized in Appendix C of the planning justification letter that I submitted. And again, although the initial reaction during these discussions was this appeared to be a no-brainer given the width of this lot on this particular block within this particular neighborhood, we were yet again a bit surprised to see that following that formal meeting, planning staff remained opposed, and on that basis, they didn't provide any commentary on the variances themselves. And in our opinion, it's important to actually look at the built form impact of these variances, and that's what we'll basically discuss. The only thing that really changed since the original submission to now is a clarification on the lot coverage calculation, which was done in conjunction with the zoning department before we came back and rescheduled this hearing. So on this basis, I will now provide the committee a quick overview of the proposed applications and a justification for their approval as follows. And again, as I've touched upon already, the one thing I'll note off the bat is that although there are a large number of variances, I would ask the committee to consider their actual built form impacts and not just look at the total number of variances being requested. As many of these, as you will see, are technical in nature or design related, and the resulting dwellings do remain compatible with the neighborhood, and I will further discuss this as I go through each of the variances. So right off the bat, in my opinion, it's important to identify that if the subject site were left in its current form with its larger frontage of almost 23 meters, this, in my opinion, is actually more out of character than if it were severed into two smaller lots, as a severed lot is more in keeping with the character of the overall lot fabric in this neighborhood, even if it's at the lower end of the lot frontage range. Based on the existing city lot data, there are only 12 other lots within 500 meters of the subject site that do have frontages that are 20 meters or larger, which in my opinion are the only other candidate properties for a potential reasonable severance, with resulting lots that would be greater than 10 meters of frontage. So as such, there is no real threat with respect to potential destabilization of this neighborhood, as a vast majority of properties are not suitable candidates for severance based on the existing property information and property fabric that we do have. With respect to the lot frontage and lot area variances, the proposed frontages are 10.83 meters and 11.91 meters, while below the zoning standard and requirement. They are not out of character when considering the immediate and broader context of this neighborhood, and as per OP Policy 4.1.5, there is greater relevance that is awarded to the immediate context. Figure 4 of my planning justification letter identifies nearby narrow lots within the immediate context. This includes 18A Keynes Avenue, which has a frontage of 9.31 meters, and 287 and 289 Connaught Avenue, which is the one street further north. It's not exactly adjacent to the rear because there's a property in between the properties, but that represented by the opposition today, actually, Cactus Avenue. But there are also 34 lots on Patricia Avenue with frontages of 12.19 meters. So the proposed lots on the subject site will fit within this existing lot pattern in this neighborhood, and especially the immediate context. The lot coverage variance is modest in nature. The bylaw permits 30%. The proposal is contemplating 32% for each lot, which is only a 2% increase, and also represents a benchmark that's really been set in the North York District in terms of approved lot coverages and precedents. Similar lot coverage variances have been approved in this area, and in this case, there are no associated variances for GFA or FSI increase, front yard setback, or rear yard landscaping reduction. That supports the conclusion that the proposal is not an overdevelopment of the site, but rather an appropriate footprint for the new proposed lot fabric that's being contemplated here. The side yard setbacks are also minor in practical terms. On part one, the east side yard setback is actually 1.56 meters, which is greater than the existing dwelling's east side yard setback of 1.32 meters, and the internal side yards between the two properties is 1.2 meters each, which gives about 8 meters of separation distance between the dwellings that will result on the property, and that remains a reasonable separation condition that allows for access to the rear yards. For the proposed corner lot for part two, the reduced west side yard setback of 1.12 meters faces Cactus Avenue and not another dwelling. And as a result, the reduced setback does not create the same privacy overlook or separation concerns that it might create when it's adjacent to another dwelling. With respect to the height and stories, the dwellings comply with the overall maximum height permission of 10 meters, and story and main wall height variances are largely related to how the bylaw treats the proposed design. 3-story built form, including houses with 2 stories above the garage, it already exists on a widespread basis in this neighborhood, as well as in the immediate context, as I already mentioned, and the proposed dwellings will not be out of character in this respect, as this is widely visible throughout this neighborhood. I see I'm running low on time here, so I'll just jump right to the conclusion, because a lot of the other variances are technical in nature. They're detailed in the planning justification letter. In summary, the variances meet the 4 tests under the Planning Act. They maintain the official plan because the proposal respects and reinforces the neighborhood character. They maintain the intent of the zoning bylaw because the resulting dwellings are appropriately scaled. They are desirable because they allow 2 new detached dwellings on a large existing lot representing gentle and compatible intensification that the city is encouraging. And they are minor because they individually and collectively do not create unacceptable adverse impacts on privacy, shadowing, overlook massing, or the streetscape of neighboring properties. For those reasons, we respectfully request that the committee consider approving these applications. Thank you very much for your time this morning, and now there's opposition here, we'll have a chance to speak.
Thank you for meeting the deadline. Any questions of the applicant at this point? Mr. Marziari.
It's a quick question. The properties in the back, 287 and 289, are those severed or
Yes.
those are severed?
Those properties are the result of a previous severance.
And the one 2 over.
On 18A Kane, so that's 2 properties to the
18A,
east.
yeah, I can see
His
that.
site plan shows it.
That is also a severance application before.
Yeah. So, and then the addresses ended up being 18 and 18A. I guess that's because the way the numerical numbering happened on that part of the street. But again, it's on figure 4 of my planning justification letter. There's a zoom in of the immediate context that this is what's happening right in this particular block.
If staff can show his planning justification, he shows that. It was the
It's a
other
figure
document.
4. It's a figure 4, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, it's clear.
Keep going.
You go down. I think there's a diagram.
Keep scrolling. Right there.
Here.
Those are separate.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I have a question for Mr. Rose about wall height. And I'm just wondering I'm looking at the elevation plans, and the floor heights are quite high. I don't know what the concerns of the neighbors are yet. We'll hear from them, but just wondering if there's any room for lowering wall height, because it's fairly significant, the variance.
So, hold on, I think those are.
Looks like 10 feet in the lower level, 11 on the main level, and 10 plus on the second or third level, I guess it's called. I'm just looking at the front elevation for now. I was looking at the rear.
That's which house is that?
Oh, sorry. I think I'm on A.
Hold on. My drawings show something else.
These are the plans. Sorry, I've got them zoomed in so I can see them. So I can't see the drawing. 1 minute. House A.
Yes. Yes, okay.
And this is dated March 27th, 2026.
We could probably lower the overall height.
Because right now it is, what have you got there?
So do you like feet or, I prefer feet. So where it shows 11 feet, that's floor to floor. So it's a 10-foot ceiling.
So overall, the proposed height of the main walls is 9.52 meters, and the
Yes.
bylaw standard 7.5. So it would be a reduction to that. I don't know what that would be.
Right, so I suppose we could lower it 0.3. The problem is, the bylaw penalizes flat roof houses. There are many in this neighborhood that have heights like this with flat roofs. Planning chose not to respond to comment on any of these, so in our lot study, we find that this is in keeping with height for flat roof houses in our lot study.
I'm just thinking the impact on the neighbors at this point. So
Yeah, I understand that.
we can just park that for now.
Yes,
We'll hear from
good
the
idea.
neighbors, and then you can think
Right.
about it, okay?
Thank you.
All right, any other questions at this point? No? Right, let's hear from the neighbors. Who wants to come first? Welcome. Just make sure the microphone's still on. Welcome. Yeah, I think so. Is it? That's better. So
Good
we'll start
morning.
with your name and address, please.
Good morning, members of committee. My name is Larisa Kostetskaya. I've been living at 25 Cactus Avenue
Okay.
for over the 30 years. I am here to express my serious concerns regarding the proposed development of my neighboring property. This situation is quite unique. My house is very small, low bungalow. Unlike most properties, our homes are not separated by two backyards. Instead, my house is located very close to my neighbor's backyard, with two big windows and door opening to a narrow side walkway between us two. This has worked well for decades because the existing house was modest in size and set back at a reasonable distance. However, the current proposal is to build two large, tall, and deep houses on that lot. Due to their height and length, these new buildings would be positioned extremely close to my home. The most critical impact for me is a significant loss of natural daylight. The affected side of my house includes my kitchen, breakfast area, family room, as well as two windows and door that I use every day. Because of my health condition, I spend most of my time indoors. Access to natural light is not just a preference, it's essential for my quality of my life. If this proposal is approved as submitted, I will be forced to live much of my daily life in a shadow. In addition, I am deeply concerned about the loss of privacy. For 30 years, I have enjoyed a quiet and private environment. With two tall houses so close to my property, that privacy will be significantly reduced. There are also concerns related to noise and air quality. With two families instead of one, increased outdoor activity, including barbecues close to my major windows, may make it difficult for me to open my windows and get fresh air, which is important for my health. Additionally, the proposal includes the removal of approximately 25 mature evergreen trees over 6 meters tall and around 40 years old, which currently provide natural screening, shade, and environmental benefits. From a planning perspective, the proposal represents overdevelopment of the lot. For permitted lot coverage is 30%, while this proposal approaches approximately 55%. There are also multiple variances where the proposed measurements exceed what is allowed under the zoning bylaw. It is concerning that so many requirements have been exceeded, rather than minor adjustments being requested. In conclusion, I respectfully ask the committee to carefully consider the cumulative impact of this proposal, particularly the severe loss of daylight, the reduction of privacy, and the scale of development relative to the lot. It is not a minor change. It will have a lasting and significant impact of my daily life. Thank you for your
Thank you very
silent
much.
consideration.
Any questions of the resident? No? All right, thank you. Do we have someone else who wishes to speak?
No, if you have question, I can answer any question which you have.
I just asked, no one has any questions, but thank you very much.
Only one thing I can tell, I have a couple of minutes ago, the big pressure from the opposite side, and they insist that the coverage, not just have coverage of the lot has only 32%, but it's not true because I checked with a calculator, everything. I got this, all files, 3 files. First of all, I can tell the number of the file, but if it doesn't matter. But on one file, they said it's 2-story building. On another file, it's a 3-story building. And I won't be wonder if finally it's going to be 3-story. I still cannot understand how many stories it's going to be, 2 or 3, because different files, the different information.
All right, we'll let the applicant explain that. I think they understand that it's a common issue on these applications, but they'll explain how coverage is calculated and they'll explain the 2-3-story difference, okay?
Yeah, and the last one, last thing. I asked this gentleman how it's possible if we will combine widths of the lot, which they proposal, 1 building plus 1 building, it exceeds 2 meters of width of the lot. And they didn't explain to me how it's possible.
All right, we'll let them explain that as well. Okay, I think do we have another resident who's speaking? Is there anyone else?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
If you don't have any questions.
No, I think we're good.
Okay. Madam Chair, committee members, I'll address some of the concerns from a friend here at 25 Cactus. She brought up an issue of the cedars. She asked me not to speak about it, but since she did, she talks about her side windows and how she loves the view and everything. Well, and I've seen a picture of the cedars. They block any view, and there's a fence there. So because it's a bungalow, those windows we're not gonna affect the view at all. In terms of, the fact that she's saying we're so close to her, there is no rear yard setback variance. When you buy a lot that is in between 2 lots going the other direction, you got to understand you're going to be looking at the backs of houses, which is a lot better. She has a long backyard. She can open up her windows for fresh air to the rear yard. She can still open her windows to the side. She's concerned about barbecuing and kids playing. Well, there's no variances for barbecuing and kids playing in the backyard. And she did say they're trees. They're not trees, they're hedges. I will point out, if you see on the back of our site plan, the property that it's on is part of an easement. So those trees, if the city wants to access the easement, those hedges, I suppose would have to come out, but we can't build on there at all. She talked about 32% in her confusion. We have verified that we are actually 32% coverage. 32% coverage has been historically, by the councillor in the area, ever since I've been an architect, which is a long time now, has been a standard that even though it's 30% coverage and that 32 councillor won't object, you'll note that there is no objections from the councillor on the severance or the variances here. You alluded to the fact that this is now considered a 3-story house because the garage is below grade and the basement is the closest story to the established grade. 2 years ago, that wasn't the case, and all the houses that are built with a ground floor above the garage are now considered 3-story houses. That is why our balcony on our second floor, which is really our balcony on our first floor, has a variance for the area of it. Any house that was built with a garage below grade would have those same variances today. So we do think those are minor in nature. Now, going back to the issue of the severance, I do want to say that when we originally came here, planning pre-circulated to all the departments, and if you'll look at the notes from that hearing, nobody commented. And then at the last minute, we got an objection. Very last minute, they missed their deadlines for giving us comments, so we were shocked. Now they're objecting. We had a meeting. We were both on this meeting with the area planner. He got on the line and he said, yeah, guys, this looks like a no-brainer. And then after the meeting, when he talked to his boss, planning just kept their notes saying this is not appropriate for the area. What I don't understand is planning department, you read about it, the councillors, City Hall always talks about intensifications. This is just a few-minute walk to Yonge Street. And they talk, but when it comes down to writing something in paper, they're stuck in the 1990s. I don't quite understand this. This is the widest lot in the immediate block. Planning likes to look at the immediate surrounding, has more weight. There's two severances, one behind and one just to the side. I don't understand how one planner, who's the area planner, says, yes, this is a no-brainer, and then they continue with their old report, which was late. So we do believe this is going to keep the neighborhood in a great area. It's not going to be anything to make the neighborhood unstable. It's appropriate development for the neighborhood, and I think the variances cumulatively are minor in nature. And to your point, Madam Chair, if it helps, we will lower the height by, I'm going to say 0.3 meters on both houses, if that helps. It's a foot. I do think that is, in keeping with the development in the area. There's lots of houses like this. And I think it's a penalty against modern architecture that the height for a flat roof is so low. I mean, the height is 10 meters.
All right, thank you. Questions? I have two.
Yes.
Just again, go back to the coverage. I think the neighbor doesn't understand how coverage is calculated, so maybe just explain. I think she's thinking it's the gross floor area over the lot area, not what it is. So please explain.
So she tried to discuss this with me outside. She was adding up the lot frontage. I didn't quite understand what she was saying. She had her numbers for the lot frontage. If you look on the site plan, City asked us to put this on lot A. It's 11.91 meters, but it's at the front yard setback. It's the width of the lot. The lot is pie-shaped and curved.
Yeah.
The frontage is 12.41, but under the bylaw, it says this in the variances, that it's 11.9. I think she's confused by that, and I couldn't quite understand her question, but I guaranteed them. We have a zoning review, and we checked that zoning review. We're at 32% lot coverage, but planning asked us to put that 11.91, and the other one is 10.8, I think. It's how the city calculates frontage. It's not the ARC. And so she didn't understand about the ARC. So I think that answered that.
The coverage is the building area covering the lot.
It's like a cookie cutter. If you push the building through the ground, what footprint would it?
Right.
The other thing I want to point out that we could build one building here, and it could be the lot A and be 32% coverage if the committee approves it, which have similar variants. And it's the same interaction with her property. If you see where her house is, we're looking at the back of her house, the side of her house, sorry. So I assume she's going to be playing in her backyard and her grandkids or whatever. So there's really no lack of privacy. And she's, if you can zoom out a little bit, you'll see her house in the rear. As I said, there's hedges there. So, I would never suggest a client buy the second lot in from a corner lot because you're looking at the side of a house. It's not a desirable house. I'd rather look at a backyard.
All right, and the other question is, from the front, explaining the 2-3 story difference. From the front, it reads visually as a 2-story house. Is that right?
I would argue it reads as a 3-story house, but so did every house with a below-grade garage or an on-grade garage. and that's probably why the planning department changed this whole thing. But these have been approved
Okay.
in the area over and over again. It's unfortunate that this has happened, but any house built, you know, in the 1980s to 2023, when the bylaw changed, I think would probably be a 3-story house now.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? No? Oh,
Sorry, Madam Chair, maybe just for the benefit of the neighbor, if you might want to explain, should this application be approved, the coverage would be capped at 32, regardless of how it may be calculated otherwise. Should you approve this, the variance as stated is the maximum.
yes.
Maybe just for the benefit of the neighbor who has who had a different calculation.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind clarifying that.
Yes, we can do that in the clarification. Okay. Any other, so that's it. Last call for questions. No? All right, we'll take it into committee. Thank you. All right. Comments? I can understand the neighbor's concerns, you know, having 2 houses replace 1 house on a lot, but it is a large lot. And I tend to agree with the applicant about the size of the lot. It is large for the area, and I think that the lot can accommodate 2 new lots. So I'm contrary to staff's opinion on this, but I believe it's appropriate. I think that it meets the Planning Act tests under Section 51. And my biggest concern, I think, is the height of the walls, because I just see that having more of an impact on the neighbors. And when you're fitting in 2 new houses on a lot, I think that I'm happy that the side yards are appropriate and the rear yard, and there's no encroachment on those in terms of setbacks to the house. So that is good. So I think that it's sensitive to the neighborhood. It's my opinion. Mr. Marzieri.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I agree with you. And in this case, I think the immediate context, we have 2 severances that the proposal is within that range. So I don't have any concern with the undersized lot and frontage. I just had a bit of concern with the number of stories and height. Well, the reason for that is the basement is that great, almost. And it's considered as first floor. But I can also see that the applicant maintained the wall height or the roof height below 10 meters. And it's a modern design. So it's not that, you know, unusual to see that, you know, type of variance at 9.5, 9.6. And I'm also happy that the applicant kept the entrance low, so there's no entrance height variance. I was hoping to see what's happening inside, but it's all masked. But I'm sure there are some steps inside to get to the first floor. As for height, I'm looking at the elevations. I think the first floor to second floor is 11 foot, so it's giving like 10-foot height ceiling, which is not that crazy. The second floor, it's about, again, 11 minus 1, it's about 10 foot, so I'm happy the applicant is okay to reduce it by 0.3 meter. So that was my only concern. So overall, with that amendment, I think it's a supportable application and it's a nice design.
Thank you. And I did forget to mention, even though I was reminded, that if we were to approve the application as it is, the coverage would be capped at 32% and not any higher, so, which is more than normal in the area and just generally across the city to have a 32% coverage and a 30% bylaw, yeah.
I want to add one more thing.
Yes.
I think I sympathize with the neighbor at the back, but the applicant is not seeking building depth, building length, and also rear yard setback
Right.
variances. They have a bit of a, you know, raised deck at the back, but it's nothing that, it's not that much significant. So, you know, it's okay. I mean, like it happens. It's just a formation of the size that that site is looking at the backyards here. So.
Right,
That's
okay.
the comment, yeah.
Anyone else? No? Mr. Ms. Klein, Ms. Sankar. Ms. Sankar, go ahead. You have your hand up. We can't
Sorry.
hear you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, you all sort of said all of the things that I would have put forward, so I know I don't need to repeat that. I feel for all those reasons, I would be willing to support this application as well.
All right. We need someone to make a motion. And
I
we
can
have
try.
forestry, Mr. Marziari.
I can try.
Thank you.
So I put forward a motion to approve the consent application and also minor variances for the two lots as amended. So building, main wall height for, which part is that?
Which is variance 11 on Part A.
Yes, Part A, variance 11, 9.52 to be reduced to 9.22 meters. And also for
I'm just
Part
double checking.
2,
Where that is. It is also number
variance
11.
11, yes, 9.4 to be reduced to 9.1. And forestry, number 3,
3 for the severance.
for the severance, correct.
All right. Yes,
Uh,
the standard.
Yes, the standard severance condition as well.
From, sorry? We didn't get updated comments from engineering, I don't believe. We have the previous ones.
You can
Just,
see.
maybe we should just double check what's in there, I can't remember. Forestry engineering, I think they had standard conditions probably.
Yes, so I would include that as well. Yeah, I can see that. You're okay to include that?
Yeah, I think that was it. All right, do we have a seconder? Ms. Klein. All right, all in favor? That is carried. The application as amended, the severance and the 2 variance applications. Thank you. Yes? It was unanimous. Thank you very much. All right. 11:13, does anyone need a break? Can we take a 5-minute break? Again, I can't remember where we are. Didn't turn my video off. On. Are we on? I believe we're on 5. Okay, we're on item 5, 109 Gilly Road. This is an application to alter the detached dwelling by enclosing the front porch for living space, adding a 1-story rear addition and constructing a new detached garage. The variances are building length, building eve encroachment into east lot line, front yard setback, and east side yard setback. On file, we have a survey, plans, and supporting material. Okay, do we have our applicant? Oh, welcome, in person. Great. All right, let's start with your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Anish Masih. I'm the owner, my wife is president of 109 Gilly Road. We moved into this property 2 years ago. We're downsizers. We moved from Markham from a bigger house into slightly a too small house.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone want a presentation on this one? No? I don't think we need a presentation. I think we understand the application unless there's something of note that you want to point out.
Not really. My major concern is actually listening to the last case. That is the major concern, that you don't annoy a neighbor or cause some adverse impact to a neighboring property. One of the benefits of our property that we like, it's a corner lot. It borders Gilly and Ancaster Road, and it's actually quite a generous little intersection there. It's visually, when you walk the neighborhood, it's like a lot wider and larger to the other properties across Ancaster Road. My other neighbor on that side, which I believe is might be 117 107 Gilly Road, and the other bungalow on the other north side, and my immediate neighbor directly across me. So it's quite a lot of distance. My neighbor directly to my west, Mr. Volte, I've spoken with him about our proposal more than 2 months ago, so he's been well informed. I gave him my building plans, he gave you a letter of support. And the one concern he had, which I'll tell you, and we discussed it recently, is once we remove 20 feet of the garage, because it overlaps the back of my property, it doesn't allow me to extend my rear of my bungalow. I don't know how they built these houses, but all 4 bungalows contiguous, probably built by the same builder, are like that. So we need to remove it. And it's a 42-foot long garage, extra long. Nobody's gonna drive way back there. I can fit like 3 or 4 cars in the driveway before coming to the garage. Who's gonna shovel all that snow if I park a car in the garage? It's not gonna be used for that. But still, we'll leave a good 21, 22 feet of garage space as required, you know? His concern was once we remove the garage, that's acting as a natural barrier between my side lot and his side lot. I agreed to put up a wood fence there, which we'll share. So there's no issue with that neighbor. I don't really have anything else to say. There's a lot of construction in this pocket. It's a nice little pocket. It's just 20-minute walk from Yorkdale Mall. So we moved basically because of location. I work at Humber River Hospital. My wife's a teacher. She works at Avondale Public School, which is just south here near Yonge and Shepherd. So driving from Markham compared to driving from where we are to our work is the bonus. And the kids are in university, and they don't really live with us anymore. They're on dorm. So this is what we wanted, just for our own personal use, to make the property a bit more functional, more comfortable for us. We plan on retiring here after we're finished our working career, because we like the neighborhood and it works for us location-wise. I don't really have very much to say. There's not much I can do about the setback on the side east lot. I know they want 3 meters, but that is a little bit odd. My proposal keeps it at 0.94 meters. I feel the setback's unreasonable because we're bordered by a small boulevard, a sidewalk, a larger boulevard, then the road, then symmetrically on the opposite side before you get to the other house. There's plenty of space there, and it doesn't encroach on anybody's privacy in any way. As well, if you just walk around the neighborhood, as we often do, The extension to the rear, you know, if it's not contiguous with the footprint of the house already, it will look very odd. It would break the pattern of the landscape, the streetscape in the neighborhood, because we don't see any other property that's been extended having a setback into the, you know, property line away from the side edge of their boundary of their building. So, you know, that would result in some visual incongruous streetscape. That's my only other comment on it. I
All
don't,
right.
unless you have any questions I can answer.
I don't think so. Anyone? No, I
Quick,
think, oh, Mr.
clarification
Marziani.
through you, Madam Chair. So these setbacks are the same for existing, right? The existing house has the same setback, and you're just extending the existing setback, right?
Yeah, we're just doing a rear extension.
I know, but like the existing wall on the corner side, on the Buting Street side, it has the same setback, correct?
Yes,
0.94.
yes. The other house is similar to ours in that respect.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. We'll take it into committee.
Thank you.
All right. Questions, comments? Motion? Oh, Ms. Sankar, thank you.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair. I think that, you know, the explanations provided by the applicant here today sit very well with me. I do believe it's a very minor application. I'm not worried, and so I do believe it meets the 4 tests. I'll put forward a motion to approve this application as is.
Thank you. And seconder? Mr. Bartolo, all in favor? That is approved. Carried. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, item number 6 is 79 Martin Ross Avenue. This is an application to permit a vehicle service shop and accessory vehicle sales, previously heard on October 9th, 2025, was refused. The variances are for vehicle dealership associated with vehicle service shop use. On file, we have the previous decision, cover letter, survey, plans, site photos, supporting presentation, and a community planning staff report. Let's have our applicant.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair. Franco Romano, 321 Lakeshore.
Thank you. Does anyone need a presentation on this one? I don't think we need a presentation, Mr. Romano.
Okay.
You've seen the community planning staff report?
Yes, those conditions are satisfactory and they reflect the proposal.
Okay, great. Okay, just double checking 1 sec, give me 1 minute. All right, so we'll take this into committee. All right. Ms. Sankar, again?
I didn't see anyone putting up their hand, so I said, okay, I'll
Thank
go
you.
for it. No worries. So you know, going through this application and the reason why it, you know, I don't feel that it needed a presentation is because I found it quite well understood. And, you know, I think that it does actually meet the 4 tests. I don't believe that there's anything that stands out to me as concerning, and there's no opposition that came in and no additional materials that state otherwise. So I'll put forward a motion to approve this application, and I'll make it subject to the April 23rd staff report and the conditions therein. Perhaps I could read it out loud, or should I just say subject to the April 23rd staff report? That should do.
That there's 2 conditions? Yeah, just say that,
Yes.
yeah. The,
Yeah,
subject to the
that's
2 conditions from the staff.
Subject to the 2 conditions that's in that staff report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. And a seconder. Mr. Marziari, all in favor? That is carried. The application's been approved. Are we on 7? Is that correct? 123 Patricia Avenue. Oh, this is, right, to construct an extension to the existing deck at the rear of the existing dwelling. The variance is for platform projection. On file, there's a previous decision from July 2015, a survey, plans, tree inventory report, tree protection plan, urban forestry memo, and a letter of objection from, I didn't note the address somehow. Oh, from 125 Patricia. All right. Our applicant is,
The applicant is online.
oh, he's online. Okay. So we're going to hear from the applicant first. You're a neighbor?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to hear from the applicant first. Go ahead.
My name is
Yes, Joe Dome, 133 Torresdale Avenue, agent for the owner.
Okay, thank you. And does anyone, well, I guess we'll have, perhaps, Mr. Dome, can you give us a brief presentation? We have a neighbor in attendance here today.
Yes,
Two
the owner
neighbors.
would like to, the owner would like to construct a rear deck extension to an existing as-of-right deck to make it more functional. The one variance is requested for projection of 4.57 meters, where 2.5 meters is allowed. We have read the material submitted by the neighbors at number 125 and from across the street at number 136, and we would like to include some explanations. The one requested variance is mitigated by a number of factors. The 1.81 meter side yard setback of the deck complies with the bylaw, and there is no rear yard setback variance requested. The deck is only 3.25 meters wide, so this is not a very wide deck taking up a larger space behind the house. So the portion of the deck to which the variance applies is smaller in scope. The deck height is 2.44 meters, which is access from the main floor, and that was lowered by 2 steps from what was previously, what the previously existing height was, to balance ease of access and mitigate impact. The proposed extension is also significantly set back from the rear lot line at 9.67 meters. There is 1.8 meter privacy screening included in the design along the west side to improve upon the privacy conditions and mitigate overlook toward number 125. And this improvement, it does improve the existing privacy conditions of the as-of-right deck. Planning staff have no concerns, and Urban Forestry has recommended condition number 2. And overall, this application, the one requested variance, is fairly modest considering the scope of recent nearby development, such as number 99 Patricia, which was approved last month for a 4-plex with a 2-story garden suite in the rear yard. And we feel that the application before you today is reasonable and minor in nature, and I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? I just have one question. I guess I don't think the request is that major, but why it has to take a tree out, I question. And the tree looks pretty significant there. And was there not a possibility to maybe move the deck over a bit or move it out of the way of the tree so that the tree wouldn't have to be removed?
Yes, my understanding is that the tree was in very poor condition. So when Urban Forestry looked at it, I believe they recommended removal, and that's what's shown in the arborist report. And Urban Forestry recommended condition number 2.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's hear from the neighbor. Go ahead. Start with your name and address, please.
My name is Tae-Soo Kim. I'm living in 125 Patricia Avenue.
Can we hear okay? A little closer to the microphone.
I expressed my opposition to the minor variance application at 123 Patricia Avenue. I proposed elevated deck extension exceed the permitted projection and height limited in the zoning by law. By the law allowed a maximum projection of the 2.5 meters is existing already, and then I'm being exposed already privacy. He can see we eye contact together so far. But what is being proposed is 5.54 meters, which is more than double. I do not believe this can reasonably be considered a minor variance application. The elevator deck is 2.4 above from the ground, and only 1.8 away from the boundary of my house. Last year, the elevated deck was extended constructed without approval. As a result, we have already experienced a significant loss of privacy. Due to this height of close proximity, the proposed deck would be directly overlook our primary bedroom, living room, and entire backyard. This creates the unreasonable and ongoing loss of privacy. The existing zoning limited are clearly intended to prevent precisely this type of condition. In my view, the requested variants do not meet for test under the Planning Act, as they are not minor, not reasonable, and do not maintain general intent of the zoning by the law or the official plan. I appreciate your effort to address the privacy concern by proposing our privacy screen. However, I cannot accept this situation, this solution. Any screen is only temporary measure and does not provide permanent solution to the issue. No material cannot fully guarantee long-term privacy. The proposed design is not only extended deck, also will result in our privacy being exposed from the multiple viewing angle as people using a stair and ascent deck, which constitute a significant and unreasonable invasion of privacy. We strongly object to this proposal. Additionally, installing a 5.54 meter screen along the southeast side would be create another significant problem by blocking natural sunlight and then obstruct our view. For this reason, such approval will lead to another dispute between the neighbors. I cannot accept this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? No? All right, thank you very much. We'll hear from the next neighbor.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome. Hello, everyone. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to submit the pictures that I have, but I think my other neighbor has just as effective pictures that I could kind of cross-reference. My name is James Tim.
Okay, go ahead.
I live across the street from the subject property. I'm speaking in opposition to the requested variance for the rear deck extension, and I'm just going to go through a few points. Let me start by talking about the size. The application proposed to expand the deck by 215%. The bylaw currently limits it to about 2.5 meter projection. I think they're at 2.13 or something like that. They're looking to go to 6.7 meters. In the application, it says 4.5. That's incorrect. They have not included the staircase, which is part of that structure, just for note. In my view, this is not a minor change in impact. So that's kind of a little comment about the size. Let me talk about the height. The height's about, as my neighbor had mentioned, it's about goodness, it's about 8 feet high is where the base, where the floor of the deck is currently right now. And if you can imagine somebody 5 feet, 6 feet standing on top of that is already at 14/15 feet above the ground level. Yes, they're talking about some barrier, but that's still, the view, and I had pictures, the view from there looks into 3-4 sets of yards all around them. Specifically, let me, from the height, there are clearly sight lines into surrounding rear yards. Expanding the deck would widen the elevated viewing area and increase the overlooking to neighboring properties, so similar to what my other neighbor was mentioning. The third point, the tree. Now, just bear with me here because there's a lot going on here. The previous application dealt with a height increase of, when the property was being built, we had to go through this process about they wanted to increase the height of the building. It ended up getting approved, no issue there. But now they're coming back and saying that they would like to now, because of the increased height of the house, they had to elevate this deck, and as my neighbor says, it wasn't even through a permit process, but they elevated a deck up to that 8 feet that I was talking about. And the challenge behind that is, in doing so, now they're looking to project that platform going out, which, as you talked about, interferes with which will cause the tree to be removed. In their proposal, they're actually asking for the tree to be removed. And I think I read in the forestry comments that was submitted, where they requested to defer they deferred this session so that they could address the impact of the tree. And they also said the tree is bylaw protected, and forestry also recommended that that this application be denied. Okay, so that's part of the records. So that's a little bit about so the existing tree also provides important privacy screening. I had a picture showing the canopy. I mean, we love our canopy in that neighborhood. All the houses have massive trees with great canopy, and this is a significant one that should not. It's been there for ages. I've been there at the property for 35 years, and it's part of the neighborhood. You know, we all have these large, massive trees that we're proud of. So again, removing the tree is going to, again, reduce privacy also. And the tree is there also to absorb noise and things of that nature, and that's another concern. Now, talking about noise, I'm concerned that a much larger elevated deck will intensify outdoor activity and allow noise to carry more broadly through the neighborhood. My understanding, under Section 45, subsection 1 of the Planning Act, I understand that the committee must be satisfied that the variance is minor, desirable for the appropriate development of the land, and maintain the general intent of the zoning bylaw and the official plan. Given the height of the deck, its close relationship to the neighboring yards, the major increase in size and the loss of the tree screening, I do not believe this proposal is a minor or desirable. I also do not believe it maintains the intent of the zoning bylaw, which limits elevated deck projections to control the impact like overlook and privacy laws. For me, this is not a simple deck extension. It's an expansion of an elevated viewing platform. Again, you gotta imagine yourself standing on top of an 8-foot structure overlooking not only the neighbors' yards, but all the adjacent neighbors in addition. It's quite significant, setting a not desirable precedence. For these reasons, I respectfully request the committee to refuse the application.
All right, thank you very much. Questions, Mr. Maraziari?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, what is your address?
Sir, there's a question for you.
I'm asking a question. So what is your address?
136 Patricia?
136.
That's
so
correct.
you're across the street.
Yeah, but I have the effects of the noise.
Oh, no,
'Cause
I
I was
understand.
there when the house was.
But this application, it's about the rear deck, so it's not directly affecting you.
It does directly affect me. It does directly affect me through the noise that I have to contend with, and it's setting the precedence. I have right now sight lines to the existing illegal deck that's there. Well, not they didn't have a permit. Now they have a permit, so now it's illegal. You know, that's setting a precedent in itself. Do people go and do things without permits and then beg for forgiveness afterwards?
And also for your information, urban forestry is just requesting condition number 2, not refusal. Those are general condition, and if you go to the section that says which condition to be included is condition number 2, not all the conditions.
Are you saying that they did not say are you saying that they did not, because that's what I read, they recommended denying this application. They also said that this
No,
is
they
a
didn't-
bylaw
they did
protected
not.
tree, so
No, they
maybe
did
I misunderstood what they included in their materials.
It's confusing. Their memos are a bit confusing. I will agree with you. But
Yeah,
they-
but I do remember, because I've been there for 30 years, when that house was being built, it was approved to be built under the condition that that particular tree was going to be protected.
And I'm sure it was maybe during construction, but now it looks like they are proposing to take it out. And according to the tree expert, it has issues, health issues. So that is being proposed to be taken out.
Are you saying this expert is what the 123 had hired?
Yes.
So it's a paid expert who's giving testimony on behalf of them?
But the city has to evaluate that.
Yeah, so all I'm asking you, let the city evaluate as well. Let's delay this decision, make sure all the facts are in, and then I'll support any decision, of course, this committee.
But the city
commits.
isn't asking for delay, just so you know. They're just asking, what they're asking for is that the applicant apply for a permit to harm or remove any tree. So it's part of the process.
Well, what I'm asking for as a neighbor is that let's not by 250% extend this deck. I mean, I'm all for them having a deck. They already have a deck. 215% is significant, which means they're going to be moving all their partying from inside the house.
Madam
to
Chair, this
outside
is
the house.
evidence. This is new evidence beyond.
We've heard your submission.
Okay, thank you.
Very much. We'll let the applicant come back. Ma'am, you've already had your turn to speak, so we're going to hear from the applicant now and in response to what you both have said. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Dome.
We already sent it to, my lawyer sent it to email, but we cannot find any.
All right.
Can you
You've
see?
already had your opportunity to speak at this point, so we are going to hear from the applicant in response to your comments. I don't think we have another applicant? Or do we have someone online? Yes? No?
Through you, Madam Chair, Bob Park is the legal representative for the neighbors.
Oh, okay.
So he was online, but now he's not.
Okay.
But we have his letter on file under the letter of objection of the neighbors.
But we don't have it in our package, right?
It is in the package. It's combined with the letter of objection from the same address.
I stopped at the photo.
If you scroll down.
Still going. I think I missed that. Oh, I see. Yep. All right. I think it is, it's covered by what the resident said. So, all right, let's hear from Mr. Dome.
Yes, I would also just like to highlight that I did not see this attachment to the neighbor's materials on the public file. So yeah, so I had not seen this letter. But I would like to highlight that as shown on the included photos from the materials from number 125, the privacy and overlook conditions are already existing with the current as-of-right deck and are proposed to be improved via a privacy screening. I did note that there was also a comment about blocking of sunlight, but then again, this is two opposing issues here where you know, privacy and impact an impact as far as a blocking. So the privacy screening does try to improve the privacy and overlook conditions. I'd also note that 136 is across the street, and so the proposal does not directly affect the property. And regarding the prior work, my understanding is that the existing deck dimension was approved under the previous application from 2015. I believe that was different owners. And for the extension, some background, the owners had hired someone to extend the deck, but it was not done correctly or with a permit. The owners removed the extension after inspection, and the deck has been reinstalled to the prior dimensions, but also lowered by 2 steps to try to help that height. And regarding the tree health was determined to be poor by urban forestry and the arborist, regardless of the deck proposal. So that is something that's independent. And I would say that due to the height of the main floor, the deck height is necessary to serve it, and the owners have tried to reasonably improve that as much as possible while complying with the bylaw for the side yard setback. And including the 1.8 meter privacy screening, and they're also in regards to the comment about the overlook to other adjacent properties. There's a significant setback to the rear yard and a significant setback to the east side lot line as well. And we do feel the application and the one variance requested is reasonable.
All right, and there's no area variance, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for the applicant? No? All right, let's take it into committee. Ms. Sankar.
Yeah, so I'm not ready yet for a motion, but I do want to just share a couple of thoughts about this, because when you look at an application, you think, oh, just one variance. It may be very simple, but you come to understand that the impact on, those around may not be that simple. In terms of what the other 2 stakeholders in this have come forward to say, is there much relevance? I'm not, as much as I really appreciate what they say, I'm looking at this from the point of view that they, as of right, they are allowed a deck. As of right, we can put a privacy screen. So impact to like sunlight or privacy is seemingly a bit of a moot point, because as of right, they can do this. In terms of noise or noise barriers, you can walk out in your backyard and have a party every day if you want to, and the noise will always be there, whether it is the use of a deck or a backyard. So, a lot of these points, and noise barriers as well, is not something that this committee has to deal with. That's not a variance that's within our purview. But, so in terms of what the neighbors are saying is not what's really driving my thoughts on this, but I just feel that regardless of whether they came up and said anything, at all, I think that despite the fact that it's one variance, I do believe that that is really a large variance, in and of itself. And, it's not that we're setting precedents for other things that are out there. It shouldn't be. We look at every application with its own merit. If that deck didn't need to be there, would the tree then have to be cut down as well? Really and truly, I have mixed emotions about this, and I'm leaning on the side of denying it, just on that, not what the neighbors said, but that is this one variance really that minor?
All right, thank you. I share some of your thoughts. I think that the variance would not be so impactful if it wasn't the height that it is. If it was lower, I don't think it'd be as much of an issue, but I do understand where you're coming from on that. Anyone else? pondering, pondering, ...
I could make a motion and it may not go, but I could do that if you'd like.
Right. Well, nobody else is looking to push a button, so go ahead.
Well, I think honestly, there's some applications that come in and you think just by looking at it, it may be really simple. But you know, when I'm looking at this actual deck, as of right, they have a certain amount, you know, that they could do. You're right about the height as well, Madam Chair. I'm looking at, you know, more impacts as well for that. I just don't feel that it's that minor, even though it's one variance. So I'm going to put forward a motion to deny this application.
All right, thank you. Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion? Doesn't appear so. So that motion fails. Would someone else like to propose a motion?
I can comment. I don't want to make a motion, but through you, Madam Chair, I think I agree with the neighbor. It's impacting, and one of the main reasons is because the neighbor rear wall is further set back, so it's overlooking their backyard. There's no question for that. And also that tree was a very nice tree if it could be maintained. And if I had like a comment from Urban Forestry that to deny or defer, I would definitely support that. But Urban Forestry clearly support the
removal
report, and so that tree is basically has to be removed. So no, it's impacting, but I don't think it's a bad application. I can't you know, deny that, honestly. And I think the use of the screen helps probably better than this situation now. It's already overlooking. So the 6-foot high screen, I think, helps to mitigate the impact, but it's definitely impacting. But it's to me, it meets the 4 test.
All right.
So I forward a motion to approve this application with inclusion of the 6-foot, 1.83 meter high privacy screen, and also Urban Forestry condition number 2.
Measured from the floor?
Measured from the
Floor?
Floor, yes.
All right. Do we have a seconder for that motion?
Floor of the deck, yes.
Mr. Bartolo? All right. All in favor of that motion? Okay, that is 4 in favor. Opposed? Ms. Sankar? All right, the application has been approved. All right. Number 8, 56 Teddington Park. This is an application to construct a new detached garage and cabana in the rear yard. The variances are for rear yard setback for ancillary building, total floor area for ancillary buildings, and total area covered by buildings. On file, we have a survey, plans, applicant's photographs, urban forestry memo, letters of support from 48 and 179 Teddington Park, a late urban forestry memo a tree in the rear yard. So, do we have our applicant?
Yes. My name is Kagan Walsh, 99 Yorkville, Toronto.
Thank you. And Mr. Walsh, did you see the late urban forestry memo about a tree being in the right-of-way? Can we maybe pull up that? Oh, thank you.
Sure.
You're ahead of me. Thank you, staff. Have you had a chance to look at that?
Yes. Yeah, we've been working with Urban Forestry previously, so we've had discussions with them from a few months back, and I can explain the situation if you like.
Sure.
I actually can't see the site plan on my screen. I don't know if I'm missing something. I see the memo.
No, they just had the
but-
memo. They'll put the site plan up
Okay.
now.
Sure. So yeah, the second page, right. So at the back here, you can see that we're proposing a two-car garage, and there are some mature trees on city property on Glen Echo Road. This is a through lot, so the house is 56 Teddington on the right side of the screen, and then on the back far side, the through lot goes right back to Glen Echo Road. And yes, so there's some mature trees there, and our understanding with working with urban forestry is there is one of them that they, you know, there's certain conditions with others where we can perhaps modify, but there's one in particular, a Norway maple, that is mature, and we will have to work with them further after this session with you to find a solution. So I think that's where their message was coming from, and I think that's what you're referring to, correct?
Yes, so when we look at the site plan, which tree is the tree in question? Like I see three trees in the
yeah.
area of where the garage is.
Yeah, sorry, it's the one that right after the word prop line. It's the one right.
So the one
right
at
after
the
E.
lowest one on the plan that
Yeah,
we're looking at.
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, all right, so,
We've already, yeah.
go ahead.
No, so we shifted things around as best we could to accommodate doing as minimal sort of impact to the trees on the lot. There are a few, and we're trying to work around them and shift and fit the pool, the cabana, and this two-car garage. And this was the kind of ideal layout, just to do as minimal impact as possible. But again, we're working with urban forestry apart from the variances that we're looking at today.
But would it be fair to say that no matter where you put the garage, you're going to impact some trees?
Yeah, that's right. There's a line there, and so I should mention one of the variances is setting the garage back by only 1 meter from the property line, and there's precedent for that on the street. We would, by current zoning standards, required to have 6 meters, but we're looking to have 1 meter, similar to the neighbors.
Right.
But yes, you're correct. There's a bunch of trees back there. There's nothing we can really do. And for working with urban forestry, where we've got it now is where it's best placed to do as minimal impact as possible. But there's this one Norway maple that we have to figure out a solution with them moving forward through a separate application.
All right, and the characteristic on Glen Echo Road is a number of people who have houses on Teddington Park have garages facing onto Glen Echo, because that is where
Yes.
they typically were built. It's kind of an interesting street situation.
And
Okay.
you can see that there's an existing garage further in the middle of the lot. We're going to hopefully remove that and then relocate that garage structure, or I say relocate, but the homeowner would ideally like to have that garage on Glen Echo, like you're saying, just to use it similar to the neighbors.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions of the applicant? I mean, it's a difficult situation. Sorry, staff, can you put that forestry memo back up? It's a Norway maple. I know, that was my point. All right, so we have no other questions for the applicant. Are you ready to take it into committee then? Okay, let's take it into committee. So forestry wants us to deny that variance so that they can work with the applicant, but like you said, Mr. Bartolo, I don't think, wherever you put the garage, and the garage is a permitted use in the rear yard. So wherever you put it, you're going to impact trees, and those trees have evolved over time, probably like a long time prior to the subdivision being, or when the subdivision was probably laid out. Personally, I don't have a concern with it.
No, I would tend to agree. I don't have any concerns with this application. I understand the additional 20 square meters
Mhm.
on the garage, and how, and the argument from urban forestry on how that would affect the trees. That being said, for a two-car garage, there is a minimum width that you'd have to maintain anyway, they're allowed to do. So you're gonna have an impact to those trees no matter what you do. And where the applicant has positioned it, I think is the best of the bad options in that regard. So on balance, I don't foresee any major issues with this application. I'm prepared to support it.
All right. Any other comments? No? All right. Does someone want to move a motion?
Yeah, I can move a motion there, Madam Chair. So I'll put forward a motion to approve this application, still subject to the conditions noted in the urban forestry memo.
Condition 1, I believe, or sorry. Yeah, it's 1.
Condition 1,
Yeah, but not 5
but not
at this point.
not 5.
Okay.
Second that.
All right. Seconder, Mr. Marziari, thank you. All in favor? That is carried. All right, the application's been approved. And we lost our applicant. Okay. Item number 9, 41 Blithfield Avenue. This is an application for a new 2-story detached dwelling with a rear deck. Variances are for front yard setback, south side yard setback, rear deck setback from the south side lot line, building length, building depth, rear yard setback, platform encroachment into rear yard, and lot coverage. On file, we have a survey, plans, arborist report, and urban forestry memo. Do we have our applicant?
I hear application.
Oh, welcome. Name and address, please.
My name is Ali Yi from Alira Engineering and Construction. My office location at 245 French Avenue West.
All right, thank you. Do you have any changes to make to the application today?
Nothing changed.
No changes. All right. Do we want a presentation? Anyone? No? Unless there's something you want to point out, I don't think we need a presentation.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we'll take it into committee. Or does anyone have any questions? Better ask that before. Questions of the applicant? Oh yeah, this is a corner lot. All right, let's take it into committee. I think we're good. I mean, I think just with respect to front yard setback, for instance, it's a corner lot, it's on a curve. I think that the, took me a few goes at the plans to understand them, but I think that I don't really have a concern with it. It seems to be fairly straightforward. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I think I echo your observations, the kind of curved nature of the lot, it being a corner and having kind of a concave and then a convex curve, it makes a little bit of a different site with some mathematical challenges when it comes to the setbacks and such. But on balance, I think it fits in with the neighborhood, meets the 4 tests, and is a supportable application. Therefore, I'll put forward a motion to approve this application, subject to the conditions of the forestry memo attached.
All right, thank you. Do we have a seconder? Ms. Klein? All in favor? That is carried. The application's been approved.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We're in space. All right, we will adjourn until 2 p.m. Is she?